Hello everyone, it is your old pal, Living Dead, and we are back with Hell Cartel by Johnny Cruelty. This one came, courtesy of a special request from the Doom World forums. And I am not unamenable to taking those. In fact, I've asked for requests from time to time on my videos. But as I've realized at some point, I just have a lot of trouble having time lately. Oops, I forgot I'm in GZ Doom. Making videos as it is, much less, unfortunately, and I don't mean this to be rude, but prioritizing other people's requests. But we did get around to it. This is what, whoa! This is what we're looking at here. So, okay, we got some interesting antics going on here. But, I generally am not opposed to abiding by requests, so we're taking a look at this one. This is Johnny Cruelty's first 7 maps. So, and it in order of when Johnny Cruelty made them. So, this is the first map that they ever made. Uh-oh. Finally gonna get some shotgun action here. Definitely not gonna berserk those guys. It's been a minute since I played Doom, so we're getting warmed back up, but not to worry. Oh, really? I can't get those? So we're just gonna be pistoling everything the whole time, huh? What are we looking at? 80 monsters and 6 secrets. I'm playing in GZ Doom. It does say in the README that no advanced source ports are needed, but I got an error about the title pick when I tried to launch it in DSDA, and I don't really feel like cracking open the WAD and making any adjustments to it to make it work, so we're just going to roll with this. GZ Doom's okay for now. Yeah, so Johnny asked me to be, you know, basically brutally honest about my opinion on the maps. You know, don't hold anything back, but for what it's worth, my aim is never to be overly critical. It's mostly just to be constructive when I am playing for a purpose like this one here. So we'll see what we can see. I mean, certainly, so first opinions is, this is certainly somebody's first map, but it looks a decent amount better than some first maps I've seen. It certainly seems to exist in an actual space, so there's some intent behind what each structure might represent, or, you know, have a purpose for, which I like. Texturing is really slapdash, of course, so probably just need to understand a little bit more of the basics of using the Doom editor. I think it was Ultimate Doom Builder, and just a few of the concepts, like pegging the textures. As you can see right here, these don't line up, and that's because the sectors from the ceiling and the floor, you know, don't match these adjacent areas, although these are probably void spaces. Point being is it offsets the texture when you change the height, and if you try to align them vertically, they don't really work for whatever reason. So you have to use the upper unpegged and lower unpegged settings depending on how you adjust them, and that will allow the textures to align. So, you know, just some evidence that maybe Johnny wasn't quite aware of how that worked. I like that there's a little Doom cute in this building, and what we have here is basically a little house and then, or something, and then a stairwell that with a teleporter at the end to represent going up to the second floor. So that's pretty cool, you know, some creative thinking. Interesting little bathroom. Mostly my opinions have to do with the texture alignment at this point. Not even texture choice, but just aligning them. And the lighting just being incredibly flat in the sense that it's all the same across the board. Other than that, you know, some interesting start. It seems like we're kind of encouraged to run away from these pinkies. And then as we get the Berserk pack, and of course we're kind of trolled a little bit with the shotgunners. It seems pretty clear that, you know, we're meant maybe use the Berserk and then come back and deal with the pinkies from the beginning that sort of chased us off. Oh, we are dealing with literal Nazis in this WAD, so that's cool. Doom Guy's always down to blow away some Nazis. Yeah, I mean, you know, I tend to be... So I'm a sucker for good visuals. I like maps and WADs that look good. I think this looks, you know, pretty amateur, but I don't dislike it. I like that it has a real sense of space. And we got some creativity going on here. which I'm a big fan of. But honestly, the gameplay's pretty good. There's some good incidental combat, the way that monsters are kind of layered around, and I'm into it so far. You know, really, I'm kind of drawn by this desire to look for stuff, and that's kind of informing my choices as how I move through the environment. And I really do like when we've got a... oh, here's a building we haven't gone into. So a couple of switches that maybe represent some things. A weird yellow key thing kind of hanging out here. That can be... oh, and it's some missing texture action going on here, so this wall was not textured. I'm not really sure what this means. I'll go ahead and hit these switches, but... okay. Something's moving outside that I can hear. It was... oh, okay, now I can get the yellow key. Interesting. So that indicates to you that you can get the yellow key. That's an unconventional way, for sure, to use that, but... so, you know, it probably comes at the cost of confusing people who are used to traditional signposting. But it's a clever way to use it. Alright, let's see if I can get these imps to infight with the Lost Souls. I'm not usually a big fan of not getting the... oops, that sucks. Of not getting the any weapons up to this point, but we're given a Berserk. And it definitely seems like the intent is that we're a little selective about where we go or what we do, which I kind of like. There's some thought put into the gameplay. Now if I can just figure out how to... oh, I shouldn't be pistoling this guy. I have the Berserk. Should be basically using the Berserk exclusively, I think. And another teleport up to the second floor. So I'm just gonna have to keep that in mind. My Doom brain, you know, doesn't immediately jump to the assumption that there's going to be something in a space above where I'm at, given that we can't have rooms over rooms. Oops. So given some shells... oh, that sucks. How do I get that? Am I supposed to jump? I don't know if I'm supposed to be jumping or not. I'm going to pause this real fast and look in the README, just to double check. Okay. Well, that was a little awkward. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to jump up here or not. It was tested in Jeezy Doom, but it doesn't say... aha! Okay, good. I'm glad I didn't jump. My, I don't naturally assume that I can, and I will generally play maps as if I'm not allowed to jump, even if it is enabled or not disabled. Missing a texture here, so just a little... you know, it's not... it's... oops. Not hard to miss, stuff like that, but, you know, definitely want to run through your maps a few times to look for stuff like that if you're looking to put the spit shine on it. Although I'm a pretty methodical mapper, all things considered. I take my time with stuff. Generally, always. So, I spend a lot more time cleaning up stuff like that. There we go. Alright. I'm not used to the Berserk Punch in Jeezy Doom anymore. Oh, there's people below me. Alright. I really thought that this fight was going to maybe clear up a little bit better than it did, but it appears that that was not the case. Would really love to get a shotgun. Anything up here? A dead Doom guy. So all the Doom guys in this city died because they didn't have any weapons besides the pistol. So I'll just deal with all these enemies here. Oof. Oh my god. I'm doing such a great job of, like, avoiding damage from these imps. I was almost full health, and now I'm back down to 20, so... playing some outstanding Stellar Doom right now. Alright. Most of the monsters are dead. I want to see what happens if I get up here. Am I going to have to just face off against these guys, or can I... the chainsaw. Oh, I'm kidding. I definitely don't want to pick up the chainsaw if I have the Berserk already. Oh, the chain gunners are killing me now. Ah, man. All these enemies kind of stinks. I don't know what to do with the yellow key yet. Oh, okay, here's this door here. Oh, 4% health. Just barely survived. Wait a minute. What's going on here? I'm not sure why this will not open. That seems wrong. What's going on here? I downloaded whatever version was on id Games, so I assume that was like the final version. But this seems wrong. Well, okay, so there was a lift I didn't take. Yeah, kind of a weird, awkward. The like spacing is really weird. What the hell is this? Oh. Great. Cacodemon on the way, which actually would probably make the quick load. Yes. Ugh. No! Okay. That's a secret. Okay, I wasn't sure if it was going to be part of progression or not. What is going on here? Something seems off with this. I wonder if there's like a... Oh my god. Just kill me, dude. Get that shotgun one more time. Ugh, okay. I guess it's a secret. But man, I find platforming like this like really annoying. Oh, Christ. Oh my god. I'm about to no-clip up there just because I already got it. And I'm not going to do this over and over again. Alright. I don't care that I'm cheating. I got it the first time. I forgot to save, okay? That's what happened. I already proved I can do it by luck. And I don't want to do it 100 more times. Alright, I'm really not sure about what's going on here. If this is broken, I might need to look at this in the editor real fast and see if I can figure this out instead of wandering around for 20 minutes. Okay, here's what happened. That switch I hit next to the Nazi guy lowered this wall here, and now I can get into this area. So that's good. Yeah, it's more first-time mapper stuff. Mostly what made it confusing to me is that skull switch is right there, which I'm not sure why, because it doesn't appear to do anything. It does have a switch 1 action 0 tagged, so I don't know what it's intended to activate or do, but it literally looks like the switch that would make this happen, and then it's not, and it doesn't seem to do anything. So I don't know why it's there or what, if that was a mistake or what, but that's definitely a confusing thing. I think you have to make a decision as a designer of, you know, how much you're willing to let the player, like, not understand what's going on. And most of the time, I think you want to err towards the side of making it less confusing than more. Not to say that this was like, oh, I'm going to try to make it confusing on purpose. I have no idea if that's true or not. But just a few things to consider. It's, you know, just part of the process of design. Got to think about stuff like that. All right, I really want to get up on this ledge. And go up here. So some cool little Doom cute, like non-functional doors, and I'm not going to really be upset that they're not textured, given that this is a secret area the player's not necessarily meant to see. Oh, chain gun, that's a big item in this map. Good implementation of making the weapons have like an actual little bit more weight to them when you find them. I would hope that we're not going to do all the maps like that. I think it's a good exercise for a map 1 map to make somebody go through the trouble of getting all the different guns slowly, so their power up is a little bit more staggered. But cool. Is that just a little missing piece? It looks like a secret. Aha! It is a secret. I think I looked back at that. And a hidden guy. Can't get 100%. Oh, there is a plasma. So I wonder if I feel like I'm close to the end of the map, so I wonder if this is meant to be played continuous, if I'm getting a plasma gun already, or plasma ammo when I'm at the end of the map. Alright. Anything in here? There were 6 secrets and I found half of them. I'll take that. And the exit. Okay, so this is probably meant to be played continuously, so I am not going to pistol start the next map. Alright, that was Clo-Vice. Interesting first map. Certainly has the makings of the first map that anybody ever made, but had some decent gameplay in it to all things considered. Oh, and it looks like I am given the shotgun. Maybe it's meant to give you the option. I might restart. Oh, right, I don't have the Berserk anymore. Duh. That kind of trips me up when I play continuous, as I forget the Berserk resets in every level as well. Maybe I should just go ahead and play this pistol start, because if the shotgun's there at the beginning, then I'm certainly intended to... Or I'm certainly accounted for the fact that I might start over fresh, so... We'll see. I'll do this one continuous, and if it seems like it's too easy, I'll just reset it to... I'll reset map 3 to pistol start. So what are we dealing with on this one? This map is called Tons of Tunnels, and there are 100 and something monsters, 101 monsters and 5 secrets. Cool stuff. It's got an interesting sense of place here. So we're in like a UAC facility of some kind, and a little checkpoint station, little reception area with some stools. I guess that's what those are intended to be, or maybe a bar. And then some hallways into other areas. Cool. Restroom, good stuff. We got some lighting difference going on here. That's good. Another case where we're missing the door track textures, and we're just using the defaults here, so that's a little odd. But I'm imagining we'll see a lot of that stuff improved. So if this guy doesn't want to come out of the toilet, the guy in this toilet is stuck. Oops. I wonder if I'm going to get stuck up here. Ah, I'm not, but I did find a secret. Good stuff! And a light amp goggles. You don't see those that often in modern Doom. Alright, we're going to go this way. So honestly, still, going back to the first level, my biggest observation here in terms of things that I would look towards to improve is just the visuals and the texturing. Texturing is kind of... There's a lot of just various textures going on, and while they may be all, you know, part of the tech base, you know, set of them, I think generally you want to be a little discerning with how you deploy them. I guess it really depends on what you're going for. I'm like saying all this stuff like it's prescriptive, like I wrote these rules about mapping. I mean, these are rules that I tend to abide by when I map, but a lot of people are really into, you know, maps that mimic a certain era, like that look like they were made in the 90s. And, you know, that would be more forgiving of, you know, a little bit more random texturing style. So if that's what people are looking for, then this would kind of you know, give them exactly what they're looking for. If they're looking for something that's a little bit more modern sensitivity for visual consistency and maybe more of an adept style, then they would probably... This would be one that we would want to improve a little bit. So... Interesting that that's... just a different color. What this does really well, though, is that, like, each area looks like it has its own kind of, you know, purpose and space. Like, I feel like I'm going through a real place, even though it looks a little funky. And you know, also part of it too is the light amp goggles. This has a little bit more mood. There's some good mood intended here, which the first map I think was a little bit less, you know, measured for that. This is kind of interesting. Not sure why that's not sure why it's kind of separated out that way. You shouldn't necessarily need a border like that to make the light flash properly. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but we're starting to definitely pay some attention towards lighting. We got some cool effects here. Uh-oh. A trap is opening. Spectres in the dark, I like it. Guess we'll use the pump shotgun for a while. Cool. Nice little chasm here at the end. Seems like the base is falling apart. I'm honestly, you know, kind of into it. I'm fixating on the visual stuff that we could improve just because it honestly helps fill the time to talk about stuff like that. You know, so when I go back to that, what I'm, you know, suggesting is that like we go from like that texture to that one with no border. Although I don't know, I thought I used that. It looks like it could be a secret to, you know, the Sean metal texture to a door and a lift to metal to these ones again and you know, this one again, and it's just what you want to try to do if you're going to vary the textures that much. I think it's more appropriate to use bordering textures that kind of break up the visual flow and kind of, you know, signpost a bit of a reset in theme. But I would also just use fewer different textures. Just reduce the variety of textures. Can honestly, you feel like, oh, it's going to all look the same if I use the same texture in like 3 rooms, but it's like, honestly, it doesn't really matter all that much. I think that you can get away with it more than you believe you can, because I feel this way because this is something I've gone through with my own mapping. However, all that to say, it kind of, I like the way this looks. This is a really cool area. I love, you know, stuff where we have some trauma kind of baked into the environment, and you know, a base falling apart and collapsing into a little sewer area is kind of dramatic, right? That's kind of cool. It's a neat little happening. So we've got like a little bit of, you know, storytelling going on here, even if there isn't really a whole lot to it, you know, by virtue of it being Doom. Even if this map was a little bit more on the abstract side, like, you know, going from a tech base into a little collapsed sewer area has kind of got some... It would imply a little bit of story, wouldn't it? I guess I'll go ahead and grab this second one to just refresh it. The interesting use of the rad suit, because you know, the poison section is, you need it to navigate through the poison, but you know, you could technically just walk up on the little sidewalks to avoid taking any damage. But then when you get into a fight, you would have less room to maneuver. So it's cool because the rad suit gives you like a little soft time limit, but it doesn't completely impede you from getting through. Like, you will not take damage if you take too long. You just will have fewer options when you fight there at the end of the tunnel or anywhere else in it. So kind of a cool little gameplay quirk. And it looks like maybe we're back in the other side. Okay, cool. I like that. A little diversion. Like, we could have just went there and got the blue key straight up, but unfortunately what happened is the base started to collapse, and we had to go in a little detour before we could come back around and get the key. Cool little stuff. I like it. I mean, that's honestly a lot of modern, or amateur mappers will just make a sequence of square rooms that connect with hallways and doors, and that's all they are, and it's like honestly kind of boring. Oh shit, how do I get out of here? How do I get back out of this area? Is this like a lift? I'm a little confused about that. Oh, this is a subway, of course. These are the subway trains. Now I see what we're doing here. How do I get out? Can I get up here? That, and then that's an area I haven't gone to. Oh, that's a door. Oh no, duh, I already opened this. Can I get up here? Can I just get up here? Alright. What am I missing? I don't have to UV jump up, do I? I mean, I guess I can, but that seems really weird. I don't think that's how I'm supposed to get up. Because it's not working. How do I get out? Up here? Oh, okay. So, I really do think that this is one of those cases where you really do kind of want to use, like, the conventional Doom texture. Forgot I had the rocket launcher. Because, it becomes very confusing when you don't abide by the language that people are used to. Doom's visual language. It's not like copying or being too like too routine if you use things the way that people are expecting them to. It does a lot of lifting in the ease, making the gameplay less annoying department. When people know, like, oh, that's the lift texture in Doom, and voila, it does the lift action like I would expect it to, or that is the door texture in Doom, and that communicates that it is a door accurately. When you start to divert from that, it becomes one of those situations where only you know what it does, and you get to deal with people wandering around in circles looking for the solution when it is to you something that's very obvious. So I don't know if I meant to just shotgun this Baron over and over again, but I don't really have a lot of hardware, and I don't really want him to follow me around the map, so. Now, if you want to tell the player not to kill the Baron, put 2 Barons in there next time, and it will be very obvious that they should wait. Oh, super shotgun. This is going to change things. Oh, and that's also a secret. Cool. So again, we got a little guard station here. Again, another situation where the texturing is just like kind of random. Like maybe if we are meant to, I could see if like a blending reality thing, or if like it's like hell is blending into the real world, we would, be a little bit more slapdash with the texturing. If that is the case, then that's kind of what this is doing. If it's not the case, then I would 2 things, use bordering texture. So like support 3 or support 2 are pretty good and pretty common border textures. Break these 2 touching textures up with support 2 or 3, just as an example. You don't have to use it, but let's just follow along the example here. And then I would probably pick something from that looks a little bit closer to this visually, or just, to me, this is more of like, this communicates in the way that like the floor and the ceiling look. It's like, you almost feel like laboratory and then weird industrial thing right next to it. And it's not sleek like this texture is. This texture is a little sleek, even though it's kind of, dirty. And this is kind of like crusty. And I don't know, that might just purely be my opinion, but that's the way I kind of feel about these 2 textures. And just all that to say is that I would try to match them up a little bit closer, and then also use the bordering textures if you're gonna go for such a stark contrast between the 2. It got a cool sequence of moody lights, and I like that it looks back onto an area we've previously been, or vice versa, that we communicate some area to come in an area of the map where they're not going to be able to access it yet. That's I always like that visual foreshadowing. So we got an interesting little... This area is like broken apart. Or it's like incomplete, it's like under construction. I'm not really sure. That looks cool. That looks... That is not a stock texture, is it? At least I know the skybox is unique. And I meant to comment on it too. And I forgot to comment on the skybox in map 1. So we'll do that in the next map. I guess these are stock textures so far, except for the skybox. I can't remember if I've seen any custom ones. What else is... This is just a dead end. It's almost like an area that's like being decommissioned or something, or that's like under construction. Oh, it's an old crashed train, isn't it? Is that what this is supposed to be? Like a derailment? Not really sure. It's interesting. Asking me a lot of it's making me ask a lot of questions about what the situation is. It's cool. I like it. All right, let's go this way. Oh, okay. We're gonna go ahead and take this now. Actually, stir up a little infighting. Just a little bit. Okay. Fun little trap there. All right. And it looks like the exit. And is this a... I can see the exit texture is... It looks like a painting on the wall. And especially with the light above it. I like that it is graded. You know, it's a gradient lighting, or banded, I guess. Good little visual there. Tweak and crack. Okay, so that was meant to be like the exit. Then that other area should have been like an F sky. Should I reset? I don't know. I said I was going to. Okay, we're gonna reset. Take this from pistol start. See how it plays. Because we got a shotgun in here to get things started. And it sounds like we have a MIDI rendition of Money for Nothing by Dire Straits playing. So I guess this video is going to get a copyright claim. So I think the story is that demons are bringing hell drugs into our world. Hence the name Tweak and Crack. So, interesting skybox. This seems like we're in like an urban area. And then we have this like grand, like Arc de Triomphe thing or whatever it is going on over here. It looks like being in Firelink Shrine from like in Dark Souls 1 or something like that almost. And let's see. What are we looking at too, by the way? 111 monsters and 7 secrets. A lot of secrets hidden in the maps, and I haven't really found them, but I've also not really gone out of my way to hunt for secrets, I suppose. Okay. Blue key needed. So where else can we go? I guess we're going to go not that way, not this way. I kind of like maps where you get to see the beginning of the map. Or the end of the map right at the beginning. Nice. Is that a secret? No, it was just a guy. Almost like a little pod or something where they come out of. Any... I wonder how you get up here. Is it like going up this way or something? Nope. Oh, elevator here. Okay. What? Okay. I just got, like, deflected. I'm gonna pick up the box of bullets down there in 1 second, but wanted to clear this area out. So I don't have a bunch of enemies crowded at the top when I come back up the elevator. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Getting some supplies. Oh, I should have jumped down there too. Gonna do this one more time, I guess. And... Oh! Wait, really? It's bogus. Oh well, I guess we'll take it. Got plenty of bullets. Hopefully, I'm gonna fight a bunch of, like, demons or something. And interesting little blur sphere. I generally don't like picking those up, but we'll see. Uh-oh. Alright, so we're going through a little tricky little maze section. Oh no. I already have 96 armor. But what are the chances I'm going to come back through here? So let's pick this up. Is that a step? A lot of interesting Doom cute going on here. We actually have, like, the power source for the lamps here on the top of this building, and the building goes down into a... or it has a teleporter. I assume it's meant to, like, you're going down in the building or something, though. Oh. Yep, I'm just gonna get out of there. And I'm almost out of bullets because of the Caco Swarm. Man, this is one of the hardest situations somebody could be in. You know, according to Civ 11, you're really cranking up the difficulty when you put the player in an area with the pump shotgun. So, we got a really tough wad here on our hands. All right. Yeah. Again, lots of interesting attention, you know, paid to giving the environment some story behind it. Ooh, what's going on here? That seems very interesting. And you know, we've got this weird mix of, like, hell stuff with urban stuff, so it's like corruption's definitely happening, I guess. Or at least that's the way I take it, you know, that's what I take away from it. Again, it's, you know, still fairly basic visually, but it's not uninteresting to look at. It just looks kind of amateurish, but everything has this kind of, like, sense of purpose and some interesting little variety in the different types of environments you go through. Like, honestly, one of the biggest reasons I'm not really super interested in playing a lot of people's first maps is because they're just all the same and they're kind of boring if I'm being completely honest. Just going through like a bunch of different rooms and like a lot of times you don't get enough ammo, or sometimes they just give you like every freaking gun and you're just like, cool, that there was nothing interesting going on because I just had the super shotgun the whole time and I just killed 152 monsters with it. Or just like weird gameplay. It's like, here, you know, here's a berserk pack and 15 barons. This is, you know, I'm being really creative with this gameplay. It's like, I'm sorry, but that's just not very interesting to me. I had no real desire to engage with that type of Doom content. And I'm sorry that that's my opinion, you know, if you're the kind of person who might be upset by that, but just the way that it is. I've been playing Doom for like 30 years and sometimes I need something to grab my attention, okay? But all that to say, honestly, this is a pretty cool little map set going on here so far. Gameplay hasn't really been very difficult, I don't think. I mean, I did die a couple of times in the first map, but that, you know, also being a little careless. I mean, we have some interesting stuff going on. Like, this is an interesting arena to fight, you know, a couple of Cacos and some Revenants in. There, you can't just, you know, move around it with impunity. That's one thing that I'll see a lot of times is like, here's a whole bunch of Revenants. This is going to be a tough fight. It's like, no, I just walk around in circles the whole time and I win. You know, but you're impeded by that a little bit. And I like when Cacos can traverse the terrain in a way that the player can't. That's like when they're used most effectively. So you put it like a big area of poison. Like the player could technically go there, but they shouldn't. And the Cacos can just go wherever they want, or, you know, a big gap in the floor or a death pit or something. Cacos can go over it, but the players can't or shouldn't. That, you know, is a good way to use them, just like how that arena just kind of did. Got some fun action here. Clearing our way to the Pain Elemental. This feels like it should be a dark area. There's nothing to like indicate light. I would have made this a dark area. A little awkward. Just so one of these things is like, if you're gonna make a door like this, just kind of go to the trouble of like building a little bit of extra geometry around it so that the door texture it doesn't repeat. It just seems a little out of place to do it that way. It's again one of the situations where you're kind of expecting some conventional use of the textures and no door track, except at least these textures are pegged this time, so it seems like maybe Johnny understood how that worked by the time this map came around. They don't scroll up. Yeah, I mean, seems like I'm definitely noticing some progression here. You know, this is Johnny's third map. There's a little bit going on here. Like, this is not just like a, you know, very basic slapdash sequence of square rooms. I'm not really sure about... Oh, that means that's a one-way door. Alright, well, I guess we're going into this one-way room. Ooh, Archvile! And I have a rocket launcher, so that's good. Let's tease this guy out. I want to find him. It appears we're in some kind of supermarket. Is that what this is? Or like a bookstore? How do I get past everything? So I'm going this way. Multiple Archviles. Ah! Oh, I have the Berserk, right? Or no? I do have it. Okay, good. Another thing that I like is, we have, you know, the environment actually, like, oh, the Archviles are in these bookcases. Okay, this clipping through the bookcase. The environment actually has, like, an impact on how the gameplay unfolds. So it's not just, like, arbitrary. You know, that's a cool little, like, maze area you gotta go through to do some fighting. Interesting little display here. Not really sure what that is. It's a little bit more of an abstract type of retail space, but it definitely comes across as like it's a store of some kind or something. I like that. And a big old yellow door. It is kind of weird, in my opinion, to put switches next to doors that the switches don't have anything to do with. I guess it does kind of... Oh, this is going to be a mess. Oh, I forgot I have the SSG. I'm over here like... Not really sure how I forgot that, but... Alright, here's what's going to happen. This guy's going to come over here. He's going to get stuck. He's going to keep resurrecting that imp, or... He got stuck. Yep, okay. So easy enough. Not much to it. You have to be a little careful. Oh, something opened this secret. I don't know what did that. Unless it was the switch I hit. Or it was just meant that, like, expected the player's not going to go back there and see that, and so they will forget it. Not really sure. If these are meant to be, like, different... I don't know if these are meant to indicate the keys themselves or if they're meant for decoration. If they are meant for decoration, I would say I would generally avoid using them for that, because they are... You know, they're meant to give you a clue on how you progress. So if you start to use them that way, it makes it a lot more confusing. It just... People are going to start getting lost. So we'll see if that's what that means, or if they're actually meant to indicate progression in some way. Missing door track textures. Really got to get those when you're changing the sector height and making door sectors. It's part of the quality pass process, okay? It's not... It's non-negotiable. You can't just leave those untextured. I'm not exactly sure where to go. I know I can't leave, I think, because the yellow skull. Let's see if it lets me leave this room. Oh, I can go out. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure why that... Oh, what's going on here? Okay. I'm not really sure why the yellow skull is used as the door track here, but I don't like it. It doesn't make any sense, and it's not the way you're supposed to use the texture. And I think you need to follow the rules for a while before you start breaking them, okay? As a new mapper, the nice thing about getting into mapping is you don't know all the rules, and so you can actually experiment a lot more easily in some ways because you're not restricted by the thinking about rules. But on the other side of it, you know, you need to know why the rules are in place before you start to break them. How do I get out of here? I don't understand what the progression is. Another situation. I feel like I've gotten stuck on almost every map, so just some things to think about for the progression and how it's supposed to work. Is I don't really know what to do. I might have to open up the editor here in a minute because I'm kind of confused. Red key's over there. That's how I leave? Oh God, what do we do? Where are we going? Okay, this is going on pause. Okay, so here's what happened. When I hit that switch and opened the archvile trap, I also lowered the yellow key here. I don't know how many times I walked by it. I must have walked by it a few times. I don't have an opinion on that. I think there's probably a confluence of user error, just not paying attention, and also maybe could have been signposts a little bit better. But I am acknowledging the fact, too, that I believe that was one of the archvile closets, or at least near it. It was near an archvile. And it is flashing to let you know that it's there, so, you know, it's... There's probably a better way to do it, but at least, you know, an attempt was made. But I don't know. Maybe you want to give some consideration to the fact that a person did get confused on that. Maybe not. I finished a map recently called Toxicity. And as I was making certain choices, I was like, there's a very real possibility somebody won't see this or will get lost, and I am pretty sure I don't really care. I'm pretty sure I'm okay with that. So, oh, I'm supposed to be up here. I'm just going to no clip. I don't feel like going back around. I think I'm supposed to be up here. I assume that this is a lift. Yeah. A, I don't like being forced to pick up the chainsaw if I don't want it. B, again, a way that you use the texture unconventionally. I would have tried to stick more towards a texture that generally signals that you're supposed to use it like an elevator or a door, or put a switch next to it. If you want to use a texture in a way that doesn't normally convey what is going to happen by using the texture, put a switch near it instead, and that'll kind of solve that problem. Because everybody knows they need to hit a switch. Not everybody's going to know that, like, that texture was used, the stair texture was used for this barrier, and the only reason I remembered is because in the map editor I realized I need to come up here, and that's, you know, and also seeing the key. But also, immediately after it's used as a railing, so the texture's not used consistently to convey, like, what it does. I think you do need to kind of, you know, use textures in a way that makes logical sense, as I've kind of continued to state here. I'm gonna kill those guys, but I want to hit this switch too. Oh, I got them both. All right, I'll take 2 revenants with 3 rockets. That's a good deal. And now I think we're going back to the beginning. Okay. A little weird, but... Oh, wait a minute. What is going on here? Something weird is going on here. Something strange is afoot. Something wasn't textured, or... I'm not really sure what the cause of that is off the top of my head. It'd probably be pretty obvious if I looked at it in the editor, but... that's messed up, so I would do something about that. We're back this way. Oh... And this actually doesn't... This is not pegged. So, okay. Well, I am at least near the end of the map, it seems. This might be the end. Can I go through this? Just barely unable to go through it. Okay, cool. A little 2-stage switch to prevent the player from just going through. It is a little weird that they're not the same width. So, I don't know. That I would have tried to make that so that they're the same, all the same width, but it is what it is. Or at least that there's symmetry to it. I like symmetry. I think symmetry looks good in Doom most of the time. Calculated asymmetry is when you want to get into things, you know, if you want to not use it. Like this here, these textures are not... It's not an equal length. So, oops, I don't know what that... Must have been hitting something that I have bound for other stuff. I would make this, you know, 128 wide or 96 so that these textures actually fit, or whatever the length would need to be for that, rather than letting them, you know, cut off, because that looks a little weird. Good use of the 2-stage switch, though. I think it's appropriate to use it for like larger fights when you don't want the player just to immediately leave. Use a 2-stage exit, like a key and a switch, or 2 switches or something. Good way to do that. And this appears to be the exit. Cool. Tweak and crack. Well, that's all the time I have for a video today. I apologize for that, but it is the way that it works today. There are still 4 maps in this set. I'm not sure if I'll get back to them yet, but summary thoughts on the first 3 maps that Johnny Cruelty ever made. I can tell they're your first 3 maps, but I'm also, you know, reasonably impressed by what you did with your first 3 maps. I think that there's some good thought put into aspects of the gameplay. The maps are not boring. They're interesting and thoughtful. Honestly, and the biggest department is just visually they're pretty sloppy. I think there are a lot of good YouTube videos out there that will teach you how to texture your maps if you want to. Outside of that, just looking at maps that you like to look at, maybe take some screenshots of maps that you happen to like visually, and legitimately just try to copy what they look like, are honestly what things that I would recommend people to do if they want to understand some good ways to make their maps look visually interesting. Even maps that are look like closer to vanilla style or classic styling, or maybe just only use vanilla textures, can benefit from that kind of thing. But yeah, I'd honestly play the rest of this, and I don't normally say a lot of that with first time projects. You know, for somebody's first 7 maps, that we could have seen a lot worse. There's a pretty low floor with the quality of some people's first maps, and some people never get good at mapping, and you feel bad about it, maybe. But I think we have a lot of potential here. So whatever the next video is, I will see you in it, and thank you so much for watching.